Good evening. Hope everybody's been doing well. Hanging in there. Lots of different stuff that has came out in the news today, various areas. In fact, I've recently said numerous times that I wished that I wouldn't be doing shows so much with such a Russian theme, if you will. And I actually, tonight, will be able to do that again. I've actually, I think, only got like 2 tabs open that have to do with Russia and all that nonsense going on. So, other than that, I've just got a big, wide selection of stuff. I mean, pretty insane. The one that I essentially named the show after, I thought that was just astonishing, really, because when you think about like spy satellites, you immediately think NASA, U.S. government, I mean, you wouldn't think that private entities would own spy satellites. Apparently it's a thing, and it's I guess maybe a little more common than what we would ever believe. And the reason why I say that, I'll go ahead and take you on over. The reason I say that is, as you see the headline, private satellite firms helping Ukraine. This is this is out of the Wall Street Journal. So even though I'm reporting to you with RT, you can go most certainly, and I believe this link takes you right to, this link here take you right to the Wall Street Journal. So anyway, as it says, a host of private companies have deployed spy satellites over Ukraine to track the movement of Russian forces from space. But in that very first sentence, it's like, wow. So, you have to jump through this hoop and this hoop to, legally fly a drone. You have to jump through this hoop and this hoop in order to have an amateur radio license. You got to jump through this hoop and that hoop to get a gun and this, that. We've got all these things that, they discourage us from taking part in with fees and all the other stuff. And some of it makes sense. Yeah, with the amateur radio, having a license and stuff, okay, to an extent makes sense. But companies can actually just put whatever the hell they want up in space. So you can literally, Joe Bob, if he's got the money, can put a spy satellite in space. I kind of find that disconcerting. Just a tad bit. But anyway, I mean, that's essentially, the biggest part of that I had. As far as them helping Ukraine, whatever. But just the idea. Well, here's here we go. Let's go. When outlets such as the Journal publish aerial photos from Ukraine, they're not relying on spy satellites operated by the U.S. and its allies. Instead, they're paying private firms to do the surveillance work, with the newspaper reporting that it buys imagery directly from Maxar Technologies. It says Maxar satellites, the report stated, can take photographs from space with the resolution down to 12 inches. However, such companies are not just deploying their satellites to help Western media land scoops, but are also supplying military intelligence to Ukraine and NATO allies, which is being used by Kiev to target Russian forces. So, then it talks about another one here. Planet Labs, PBC, and Hawkeye 360 are tracking Russian troop movements, with the former relaying this information to the Pentagon. MDA, a space technology company, says it's working with other companies to supply imagery to the Ukrainian government, while Black Sky Technology, which tracks radio signals, is reportedly supplying data to unnamed customers. So, and it says, let's see how much further we got. I'll read the next couple. But it says, although less sophisticated than the kind of satellites operated by state-level actors, some of these privately operated eyes in the sky can see through clouds and function at night. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know they could see through clouds. Wow, that's rather interesting. If they can, that opens up a lot of questions, does it not? It says the Pentagon has not commented on the extent of its use of commercial satellite imagery services, but these services were funded as part of a package of military aid to Ukraine announced last month. Moreover, the U.S. Has openly admitted to sharing military intelligence with Ukraine and reportedly expanded the scope of this sharing last month. So, I mean, it's just insane to me that we've got all these different companies out there that have spy satellites in space. I just, it's just mind blowing to me. Okay. And I've got, like I say, various stuff. I'll just go ahead and go through the stuff and then do the headlines, and we'll get out of here. And I'm going to be all over the place. Mental health and prayer apps have the worst privacy, says a survey. I know when I saw this, I was like, wow. Because I know one place that you can often run into snags. Not one place, but a couple of places that you often run into snags are porn websites and like job websites, right? Those are two places that are known. And so this kind of shocked me when I heard this. But it says here, despite their warm, fuzzy packaging and seemingly altruistic intentions, mental health and prayer apps are worse than any other product when it comes to user privacy and security, an analysis by browser firm Mozilla revealed on Monday. The vast majority of mental health and prayer apps are exceptionally creepy, Mozilla's Jen Caltrider, the primary creator of the firm's Privacy Not Included guide, which evaluated 32 such apps on their respect for users' personal data, told The Verge on Monday. Caltrider noted that the apps one might think would recognize the sensitive nature of their data instead track, share, and capitalize on users' most intimate personal thoughts and feelings like moods, mental state, and biometric data. You know, people like Google and Facebook don't want competition. Apps slurping up biometric data and other seemingly private information are nothing new, but given the assumption of privacy that comes with the real-life relationship between a therapist and patient or a believer and religious institution, one might hope that app developers would at least attempt to replicate such safe spaces when taking the whole process online. However, the Privacy Not Included guide found out that 32 such apps, fully 29 received a privacy warning label, noting that they either stored large amounts of personal data under vague privacy policies or otherwise maintained poor security practices, such as weak passwords. One popular app, Talkspace, stashes entire chat transcripts between user and therapist. Another, an AI therapy chatbot called Wobot, actually collects information about users from third parties, then shares it for advertising purposes, all while pretending to be their silicon shoulder to cry on. It's crazy. And I'll go ahead and finish up here. It says Mozilla researcher Misha Rikov referred to the apps his team analyzed as data-sucking machines with a mental health app veneer or a wolf in sheep's clothing, but with real-life therapy increasingly expensive in the process of finding a therapist who matches a patient hit or miss. The lure of a friendly voice just a click away is difficult to resist for some, but given the app's apparent core purpose of data mining and selling users' deepest, darkest secrets, it might be a better idea to hold one's tongue until one can meet up with a qualified therapist or at least a trusted friend, ideally in real life. Yeah, that's a little messed up. That is that. Like I say, that shocked me when they said that. I really didn't expect that it was going to be mental health and prayer apps. Okay, let me have a sip of coffee. Like I say, we are going to be all over. U.S. government defends Ministry of Truth. This here says the newly unveiled Disinformation Governance Board, operated with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, has triggered a massive pushback, forcing DHS Chief Alejandro, I'll get it right, Mayorkas, to make several appearances on national TV in an attempt to clarify how the unit will operate. Many critics, including top Republicans, have blasted the initiative as a crackdown on free speech, akin to a Ministry of Truth taken from the pages of George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984. Speaking on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday, Mayorkas dismissed the criticism by claiming that the thought police is precisely the opposite of what the small working group within the Department of Homeland Security will do. Oh yeah, well that's enough. We trust you now. What it will do is gather together best practices in addressing the threat of disinformation from foreign state adversaries from the cartels and disseminate those best practices to the operators that have been executing and addressing this threat for years, he explained. After CNN's Dana Bash said it was still not clear how this governance board will act, the DHS chief also repeatedly reassured Americans that the unit has absolutely no intention, operational authority, or capability to spy on U.S. citizens. Now, I don't know that people were talking or concerned about spying. This is about silencing people that are trying to tell the truth. That's weird. Anyway, it says the new body is headed up by Nina Jankowicz, whose resume includes working with the Ukrainian foreign minister and overseeing the Russia and Belarus programs at the National Democratic Institute lobby group. Detractors also scrutinized her for dismissing the New York Post's suppressed Hunter Biden laptop story as fake Russian influence op, only for it to be later verified by major media outlets. So, anyway, you get the deal with that. Of course, they're going to say that, it's only going to be used for the right purposes and that they'll have to go through this and that and this proceeding, and it's never the case. Never the case. Just look at what they've done with FISA. I mean, FISA's like the Wild West of, it's unreal. Oh, man. It's what they always do. And it's crazy that they, even with all the capabilities that they already have, that they just keep continuing to push further. It's unreal. This is also in the news. Texas governor could invoke war powers. Says here, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is weighing a plan to invoke real war powers by declaring an invasion at the U.S. southern border to get around a clause in the U.S. Constitution. Abbott could declare an invasion to comply with a clause in the U.S. Constitution which prohibits states from engaging in war unless they were actually invaded. Lawyers for Abbott and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton met earlier this month to debate the plan, which would directly challenge the federal government, the New York Times reported. It would allow Texas state police to arrest and deport migrants. Two people familiar with the discussion told the paper. If we do use this strategy, it could expose law enforcement in the state of Texas to being prosecuted, Abbott said during a press conference last week, confirming that he was looking into the idea. Abbott has already mobilized thousands of National Guard troops and previously ordered checks of trucks arriving from Mexico. He backtracked on the vehicle inspections after truckers blockaded border bridges in protest, disrupting food supplies and threatening more economic losses. The governor has also ramped up funding for law enforcement in border towns, directing more than $3 billion in border security overall. He has also overseen the construction of miles of new fencing. So, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. I don't know that it'd get that far. That's that's a little steep. Oh, man. Have me a few vapes here real quick. All right. All right. Next one is, another one to pay attention to. All the other stuff going on. Major global breadbasket fears crop slump. They're talking about India. It says here, the world's second largest wheat producer, India, is facing a drop in wheat output this year due to the unusually hot weather in March, Reuters reported on Monday. The country saw 5 consecutive years of record wheat harvest, and officials were expecting another record yield this year, hoping to step up exports amid supply disruptions due to the Ukraine crisis, Reuters said. In the fiscal year to March, India exported a record 7.85 million tons of wheat, up 275% from the previous year, and was planning to export 12 million tons this fiscal year. However, an official note from the government seen by Reuters estimates that the harvest will be at least 6% less than expected, threatening the export plans. India recorded its warmest March in 122 years this year, with the maximum temperature across the country rising nearly 2 degrees above normal to 91.58 degrees Fahrenheit, according to data from the country's meteorological department. Grain prices have hit record highs in recent months due to supply shortage concerns as a result of Russia's military action in Ukraine. So it says here, Russia and Ukraine account for around 30% of global wheat exports and are among the biggest of wheat suppliers for Europe. Analysts have been voicing concerns that the current situation may lead to a full-blown global food crisis. In April, Russia hiked the wheat export tax to a historic high, but continued to export grain to some of its biggest customers, including Egypt, Turkey, and Iran. So, and I don't know, where that really puts the world. You've got so many different countries that put into this, and I don't know how much of who puts in what. I don't know, how much this country or that country could ramp up production if they could. It's hard to say, but I do know that there has been nonstop, issues as far all the way down the food supply line, from everywhere from before you even get it into the ground all the way until, the finished product. Let's see. I thought this was crazy news. Have a couple of vapes. Okay. Mourners forced to rent coffins, says the media. I thought that was nuts. Says cash-strapped Brits are renting temporary coffins for funeral services before having their loved ones buried in cardboard. The Sun reported on Monday. Funeral directors say the cost-saving measure is becoming more popular as Brits struggle with a skyrocketing cost of living. And a temporary coffin is obtained for the day of the funeral and is returned afterward. The deceased is placed into a cheap, lightweight inner coffin which sits inside the rented casket. This outer coffin is then removed after the service, leaving the body to be interred inside the lighter one. The average cost of renting a coffin is €250 or $312, the Sun reported, much below the €750 or $937 price tag for buying a casket outright. There are many ways to keep the cost of a funeral within a budget while making it special, a spokesman for the National Association of Funeral Directors told the British tabloid. Provided it is clear what is being provided, this is one of the several choices available that may assist families. While one manufacturer of rental coffins told The Sun that her company's products should be seen as no different from renting a wedding dress, an industry insider told the tabloid that this move is the latest sign the living cost crisis is literally becoming a killer issue. The rental coffin market is saving families thousands of pounds, but it's sad they must come to terms with the fact their loved one isn't in an enclosed casket, the source said. Inflation in the UK rose by 7% in the year leading up to March. This 12-month rate is the highest since March 1992. Energy costs have soared even higher in the wake of the conflict in Ukraine and Britain's decision to cut itself from Russian energy imports, as households are now paying 28% more for gas and 19% more for electricity. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. Oh, really? I, just looking up at the chat. I hear you on the long day. Yeah, coffins, I don't think they're very inexpensive here in the United States either. I couldn't tell you any idea of a price whatsoever because I don't know. But, man, that is, it's a sign of the times, without a doubt. It's a sign of the times. Not a good one, but, man. So I don't know if they're doing that, like, if they offer such a thing here in the United States or not. I don't know. I thought there was, I thought there were very, like, specific rules, as to how it had to be done. I don't know. I really don't know. I thought, and I don't know. I don't know anything about the industry, but I thought that coffins were even put in vaults. Maybe I'm just stupid and foolish. I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know. So, but I thought that actually the coffin was put inside of like something else, and then covered up. But I could be completely wrong. Yeah, okay. Leo said, yeah, he thought there's laws against it. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think here, at least here in the United States, I don't think that they could just put you in the ground in a cardboard box. I don't think that would fly. And then, yeah, and Cindy, I think that's probably going to be about what it is here. And I'm just guessing, but yeah, okay. I thought that they were put in vaults. That's what I thought. Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's just, you know, when I saw that story earlier, it just kept nagging at the back of my head ever since reading it. It's like, wow, that is like a significant thing. That's not minor. Not at all. Anyway, I do have a couple, like I say, that's involving Russia, Ukraine area of things, I guess. One of them, I haven't seen anything, and maybe when I read back through the headlines, maybe I'll catch it. Maybe it's something I brushed over and didn't catch. But I didn't see anything from RT on it, so I thought that was interesting, but we'll get to that in a second. As you see in front of you here, it says amount of U.S. weaponry delivered to Ukraine is revealed. It said some 80% of the M777 howitzers and half of the 155 millimeter ammunition. I'm looking 155. Holy crap! So yeah, we're talking like well, you probably can't see the ruler. I can get it in front of my screen there. So like that. Like, wow. Anyway, 155 millimeter ammunition for them promised to Ukraine by U.S. President Joe Biden last month have already been delivered, the Department of Defense said on Monday. The U.S. military also said it has supplied nearly all the counter-battery and anti-aircraft radars and 5,000 Javelin anti-tank missiles pledged, but no helicopters just yet. I'm kind of waiting on mine too. So, the figures came from a background briefing at the Pentagon on Monday, where an unnamed American defense official gave reporters the official account of Washington's military aid to Kiev. Biden initially promised Ukraine 18 howitzers, but later added another 72, that's just a few more, along with 140,000 rounds of 155mm ammunition, 10 counter-artillery radars, 2 air surveillance radars, 200 M113 armored personnel carriers, 100 Humvees, and 11 Mi-17 helicopters. Damn. Talk about an Amazon wish list, right? According to Pentagon, half of the 155mm ammunition is already in Ukrainian hands, and more is headed over every day. A total of 72 howitzers have been delivered, along with nearly all the radars. A total of 14 cargo flights departed the U.S. over the past 24 hours, and 11 more are expected over the next day, along with 23 flights from 5 other countries. These supply flights reportedly land in Poland, from where the weapons are taken across the Ukrainian border by road and rail. And I'm sure it's really bright to put that all out there in the open. Says the Pentagon also revealed that the training of Ukrainian troops on the new howitzers is taking place in Germany, and we talked a little bit about that yesterday, I believe. Florida National Guard troops based there, which had previously deployed to Ukraine for training, have taken over the howitzer drills from original Canadian instructors. More than 170 Ukrainian troops have already been trained in handling the M777s, and another 50 are completing their training, and the official said. A group of 20 Ukrainians have started a week-long training course in using the Phoenix Ghost tactical drones, the official added. However, the M17 helicopters have yet to be delivered to Kiev. Another detail disclosed by the Pentagon is that the Ukraine has so far received 5,000 Javelin anti-tank missiles. The U.S. military has been raiding its own stockpiles for both the Javelins and the Stinger anti-aircraft missiles, as their manufacturer Raytheon complained last week the components to make more were in short supply. So now I do want to say something about this, because there's a lot of people that there's a lot of people that that might be concerned, hey, if we're giving them all of our weapons. I am pretty sure that we have more advanced weapons than what we are giving Ukraine. I don't think that these particular weapons we're giving them aren't the latest, greatest high tech. I don't think so. I could be completely wrong. But I think a lot of the stuff they're giving them is kind of like WW2 Vietnam, kind of, I don't think they're really getting anything far past that. Now, I don't know, maybe the Stingers and Javelins might be a little beyond that, but I doubt that they're giving them what it is that we have our big stockpiles for, if you know what I mean. They're probably just giving them kind of extras that we have, so. But, it's kind of crazy, Absolutely kind of crazy. Says here, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, Ukrainian armed forces have lost 1,246 artillery weapons, not counting multiple rocket launcher systems, since the start of the hostilities. Russia has also repeatedly targeted warehouses storing equipment sent from the West. There's a lot of stuff that's been blown up. A lot of stuff. So what they still have, who knows? But we clearly sent them a bunch of stuff. It's insane. It's insane. And if it's weapons that we don't need, like old military surplus weapons that we probably wouldn't use because we got so much better stuff, then it's not. as far as a loss, a dig into the taxpayer's wallet, not if it's something that's old, not so much. I just hope that they have what they need in case they need it. Anyway, there's been a lot of conspiracies and a lot of talk about why Putin is doing the things that he's been doing, not just in Ukraine, but even before. There were some clear change of direction in policy. And I don't know what, maybe last couple of years or so. I don't know. It was just a very noticeable change. And so there had been several rumors going around, conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I kind of, I think I talked about them a little bit one night, but I kind of held back and waited until something came out. Well, something has came out. And I don't recall seeing RT report on this. I don't know that they did. And if they did and I just glossed over the headline, hell, I could have glossed over the headline yesterday, right? And just didn't catch it. But I watched a video earlier today and somebody was talking about this and I was like, wait a minute, what? That came out? And so, of course, I did the digging and sure enough, bam, right in front of me. Putin to undergo cancer surgery and transfer power to ex-FSB chief, says report. Says here, Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to undergo cancer surgery and temporarily hand over power to a hardline former federal police chief, according to a new report. Putin will, hang on, let me close this. Putin will transfer control of Russia's government to Nikolai Pastrov, I'm sure I said that wrong, head of the Russian Federal Police's Security Council, while he is incapacitated during and after the procedure, according to a video from the mysterious Telegram channel General SVR on Saturday. The channel, which purportedly run by a former Russian Foreign Intelligence Service Lieutenant General known by the pseudonym Viktor Mikhailovich, reported that Putin has been told by doctors that he must undergo an operation. Hang on, let me close this box. The anticipated surgery and recovery are expected to incapacitate Putin for a short time, according to the unconfirmed report. So I guess it's still technically unconfirmed. Says Putin is unlikely to agree to hand over power for a longer period of time, the narrator of the video states, adding that control of the country will likely be in Petrushev's hands for no more than 2 to 3 days. I will say that this is the worst option, the narrator adds. Petrushev is an outright villain. He is no better than Vladimir Putin. Moreover, he is a more cunning and I would say more insidious person than Vladimir Putin. If he comes to power, Russians' problems will only multiply. Viktor Mikhailovich ominously hinted that he and his allies will make certain efforts so this does not happen, and I hope we will succeed. Kind of crazy. It says, asked about the report Monday, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said it could not be confirmed. I have seen nothing that could help us corroborate that, he said. The video follows reporting from Russian investigative outlet The Project, which, in a sizable report on the strongman's vigor, claimed he has been seen by a cancer doctor 35 times in recent years. Putin has become so paranoid about his health, the outlet claimed, he has even turned to unconventional and barbaric therapies. Putin is said to bathe in the blood extracted from deer antlers, which are hacked off while they are growing and still full of fresh blood, the outlet said. The sickening antler baths are an alternative therapy in the Altai region of Russia, which borders Kazakhstan and Mongolia. Believers say the baths improve the cardiovascular system and rejuvenate the skin, the project explained. So I don't know. I'm not going to continue reading because that's getting a little bit far for me. But I can't tell you whether he does do this stuff or don't do this stuff. I know that the elites, if you will, do some pretty whacked out things. So I don't know. But remember, I'm the guy that kept saying over and over and over, I don't know if all these cats are just really pulling on a show for us to get us to beg for world peace and, to save us all from each other, essentially, I guess. I don't know. And every other monster they can think of to have the media report to us. But, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Because I'm telling you, these folks, and I'm not saying necessarily Putin, don't drone me, bro, but, these folks are into some pretty wacky stuff. And who knows? I can't tell you he doesn't, but that just sounds a little weird. But there again, so does some of the stuff that our elite do. Adrenochrome, anyone? So, and I know there's lots of conspiracy theories, and there's, but I'll tell you what, I kind of shed off a lot of them. I really do, because some of them, like the deer antler thing, I don't know, but I do believe the adrenochrome thing. Absolutely, I believe that. Absolutely. Especially if you go back and you look up ritualistic type of stuff. I mean, it's not for a night of light reading, I'll tell you that. But you see a lot of weird stuff that involves essentially blood or other types of fluids from humans. But anyway, all right, got some headlines for you. There was actually quite a few today, or at least started out that way. Oh, wait, no. Actually, no, I take that back. It wasn't RT. I was looking around a couple other outlets, but a lot of the articles were saying it was Sputnik. Sputnik had a ton of stuff, and they have lately. My dinger's been dinging like crazy with Sputnik. I got one right here that says SCOTUS leak, and I actually saw this from somewhere else too. SCOTUS leak reveals draft majority opinion on potential overturn of landmark Roe versus Wade ruling. Yes. So did I share that out like right before the show or something? No. Okay. I know I saw it. It came up in notifications. I didn't know if I had put it out. And the reason why is because I usually wait for RT just to put it out, so I'm not putting it out 4 or 5 times. I just put the same article out one time. So, or the same story, I should say. I don't want to be one of those sources, that just puts out everything. Because it's not about that. It's not about how many news articles we can post. It's not about, it's about keeping you informed. So I do everything I can to cut the fluff, and that's why I tell people from time to time when I think about it, Twitter, that's where to keep an eye on us on the news if you want constant updates throughout the day, every day, including on Shabbat. I still tweet out the news on Shabbat. So, literally 7 days a week, I keep up with the news there. And again, I cut out all the fluff. And but I'm telling you right now, I don't do anything over there on Twitter other than share out news. I don't reply to tweets. I don't DM. I don't do anything on Twitter other than I put out the news, and that's it. That's my only involvement over there. So, I don't have time for all that nonsense. But it is a good place to aggregate the news that, at least that I find important, is a really good way to do that. So, it's the Watchman news over there. Okay, I have another sip. Oh, fun times. Supposed to be a documentary coming on to Netflix here soon. I thought sounded pretty cool. Something about, I guess, 3 Mile Island. What is the... Hang on. And then, let me just put that in. I'm going to get the name for you. Let's see. I guess it's titled Meltdown 3 Mile Island. So, May 4th. In 2 days, it will be there. I'm going to try to pause it here. Yeah, May 4th, 2 days it'll be here. And, yeah, I can't wait to see it. I like stuff like that. Because I learn stuff. Anyway, thought I'd pass that on if you were interested in that. I know a lot of people's like, no man, we dumped Netflix because of this and that and the other thing. Yeah, if we dump them, it'd be because we're tired of paying for their price hikes. I don't get involved in everybody's little social arguments, I'm not going to choose which place, not that we go out and get burgers, but I'm not going to choose which place we go out and get a burger at based on their political stance. I don't care. Is their burger good? That's the only thing that matters. Well, what if they supported it? Don't care. Don't care. They have a right. And I will respect that right. It's what it is. Now, if it's something that I personally find, then yeah, I probably wouldn't. But, it is what it is. I'm not going to let other groups of people or other people in general tell me what places I should, be a patron of. I mean, that's insane. Anyway. Let's see. All of them that I put out from this morning, none that I put out late last night or nothing. I guess there weren't too terribly that many of them. I was thinking of the Sputnik. I just kept scrolling. It's another good source, by the way. Sputnik's not a bad source, by any means. Alright, Russia probes bridge collapse as terrorism. Finland wants stronger border fence with Russia. EU timeline for phasing out Russian energy is disclosed. Renault to sell Russian assets for 1 ruble, says officials. Let's see. Russia makes gas payments easier. Putin doesn't respect American leadership anymore, says Trump. Hungary affirms stance on Russian energy embargo. Finland scraps nuclear plant deal with Russia. Russian governor explains blast near Ukraine. Let's see. First African nation adopts Bitcoin as currency. UN reveals latest data on Ukrainian refugees. Russia's neighbor set to announce NATO bid, says media. Israel wants apology from Russia over Hitler remark. Russia's oil revenues expected to soar. Let's see. PM and Defense Minister of EU member spied on. Head of EU state added to Ukraine's enemy list. Let's see. Germany warned about its role in the Ukraine conflict. EU economy projected to slow. Yeah, I would say the global economy is probably projected to slow. Scores of protesters detained in Armenia. Biden's economic approval rating is revealed. I didn't know there could be a negative. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what it is. I don't care. Let's see. Netflix dumps Meghan Markle's project deadline. Taiwan says it's drawing lessons from the Ukraine conflict. What? Not to trust the United States when they say they got your back, bro? That's probably the number one lesson you should probably take from that. Not that we should be having their back. We don't need a global conflict. It's crazy. You know, and that, I guess, throws up the question. Do I feel any more obliged to, me personally, that our nation should protect Taiwan in case of an invasion from China? And I think that the answer to that is directly affected by our current capability. And I don't think it's a good idea, Captain. I just don't. I don't know. Talk about rock in a hard spot, rock in a hard place. I don't know. The difference, and I wanted to point this out, by the way, the difference, in my opinion, that I see between Ukraine and Taiwan, the two situations, is, from my understanding, the people, the government in Taiwan, they're decent. They're, as far as I know, it's not craziness. From what I understand, there isn't much good about Zelensky. Not much at all. And so that's kind of what I weigh. But I know Taiwan is important for many, many reasons. I still don't know if it would be in the best interest. Yikes. Another, they're coming in about this Supreme Court thing. Wow. About this draft opinion. Wow. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy times. Anyway, let's continue on with the crazy, crazy times. I covered that. Russian orchestra protest balalaika ban. And I'm sure I said the name of that instrument wrong. That is an instrument. Crisis forces more. Oh, I covered that. Let's see. NBC News admits to plagiarism. Police unions protest after an officer is arrested. I covered that. Ukraine claims Hungary wants its territory. UK to announce new Ukraine aid package. Better have some Kit Kats in there. Let's see. I don't know why. I don't know. Kit Kats are good. Throw them some Kit Kats. EU charges Apple over system abuse. An Italian company should be allowed to buy gas in rubles, says the Green Minister. The Green Minister. As opposed to the yellow and the red minister, the Green Minister thinks they should be allowed to buy it in rubles. The red says hell no. But who knows? I guess the yellow will be the decider. We'll find out. I'm kidding. To me, all this stuff, I don't know. The world's governments are whacked out. Truly whacked out. Anyway, no more headlines up there waiting for me. I'm sure in enough time that article is going to be popping up on RT of the draft thing from the Supreme Court. That'll probably be popping up breaking news any moment now. So they're a little behind when they break news, and the reason why I believe is because they're making 110% sure that their story is accurate because of how much fire they come under. Because they are RT, they are Russia Today. They come under a lot of fire and scrutiny. And yeah, there's absolutely propaganda on it, no doubt. I try to avoid that stuff when I share it out on the news. A lot of the stuff, this isn't most of it's not the massive propaganda stuff. I don't share that out. And it's in the list. I know you can't see it when I pull this thing down, but I've got this little RT app thing. And, if it's something that is opinion, it'll say it's an op-ed, or you can tell by the, like here's one that says Buried Alive, how the 2014 Odessa massacre became a turning point for Ukraine, right? That's not like a news story. You know what I mean? And there's several of those that I pass on that I don't read because they're not news. They're opinion. And if it's just opinion, it's one thing if it's opinion from somebody prominent, and it's another thing if it's like even my own opinion, right? Yeah, my own opinion doesn't belong in the news. So I don't put it out in the news. So, well, I guess I do when I do news, but you get what I'm saying. The news itself, I read to you just as it is, right? And I may give you my opinion, but I give you the information that I have, direct. So, I think that's important. I really do. Let the people decide what it is that they want to think about the information that you give them. But just give them the information. Of course you're going to have opinions on it, and it's okay to voice it. I just think too many outlets, whether they're news outlets or other outlets that cover news, like to start out with a kernel of truth and then stretch to put it in whatever direction, to whatever depth that they want to get you to whatever, fear, for fear mongering, for whatever. Or anyway, I am gonna get the heck out of here and chillax. And God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again. I hope to see you then. Hope you all have a great evening and a great day tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.